Hey, hello, my friend. I pray that this finds you well from wherever and whenever you're tuning in. And today I'm coming to share with you how I found love in a couple of very unexpected places. Well, let me begin with a little bit of a confession. Um, Contrary to popular belief, I am not a saint. I do make my own fair share of mistakes. And so, this one time, I am driving on a street that's not very far from where I am, and the light is about to turn red. And in my estimation, I feel that it's not safe for me to try and stop and that I can clear the intersection. And so, I proceed to go through the intersection. Now, there was an officer on the turning lane on the left side. And no sooner than I had cleared the intersection, I saw him just turn right, come behind me, turn on his sirens, and I knew that was for me. So I did the right thing to do. I pull over to the side, put on my flashers, and he comes. And he says, well, from where I was sitting, man, you didn't clear the intersection on time. The light had turned red before you could get through. Now, I tried to plead my case because, again, from my perspective, I felt that stopping would have been dangerous. So, uh, unfortunately, I did get a ticket. But what really blessed me was how the officer handled me. Like, he was really kind, he was really down to earth about it, almost jocund, right? It was one guy talking to another guy. It wasn't a police officer that had stopped this person that had, done an offense. And the reason I say this is, I ran a transportation business for 10 years, managing multiple routes, and that saw me on the road a bit as well. And so I have had stops that were not as cordial. And for anybody that knows me, I do my best to be polite and to be respectful. But I've had interactions when I've been pulled over and the officer felt the need to exact their authority, and sad to say, I've been racially profiled at times. I've been pulled over because of a tail light that was broken. This other time I was pulled over because my license plate was not very clear, only to get home and find that there was nothing wrong with my tail light in one of those stops, and there was nothing wrong with my plates. This other time I was actually pulled over because my license plate was covered in snow and dirt. Never mind that we were in the middle of a blizzard. And unfortunately, even though we may not want to admit it, such things happen more often than sometimes we want to admit, because those stops end up being, basically finding a bogus reason to stop somebody with a hope that you can find something else on them. Or I think about the situations where, out of frustration, the person who is stopped by reacts, and all of a sudden you're resisting arrest and the situation escalates more than it should. And when that narrative comes out, guess who it favors a lot of the times, and guess from which perspective that story is always told. Anyway, all that to say, I got my ticket, and even though I was disappointed about getting the ticket, I took it feeling honored and feeling validated as a human being. But now the story does not stop there. So I show up at the municipal court in my city because I wanted to get the ticket amended so that it doesn't appear on my record. And I sit in the courtroom, and I think I'm maybe about, the 10th person to be called up by the judge. And I sit and I watch this judge. I didn't catch her name. It was a lady. And I saw her treat every single person that she called up, whether they were showing up on Zoom locked up in a jumpsuit in a cell, or somebody that was in the room, no matter who they were, no matter what their crime was, no matter how they looked like, I sat down and watched in awe as she treated every single person with respect, with dignity, with kindness and compassion, and with a redemptive approach. Like, she was really, really curious. Maybe somebody had missed their court date, or and she was like, I saw, hey, what happened? Why did you miss your court date? How can we fix that? It was very redemptive. Again, this was another situation in which somebody in authority, right, and who had all the power and who had all the rights, treated somebody who was in a lesser position, in a place of vulnerability. I guess we were the offenders in this case, but chose to see everybody that was there first as a person, then as whatever crime it is that we had committed. And yes, I've been in courtrooms where I have seen the opposite happen. So, my friend, you ask me what is love. Yes, love is all about romance and chocolates and all that good stuff. But love, and I shared this in a post, the last post that I shared, is a choice. Is a choice where we choose to see another human being first as a child of God, and we choose to treat them from that perspective above all else. And I felt that when that officer pulled me over about a month ago, and when I stepped into that courtroom earlier this month, both the officer and the judge treated me first as a human being and then second as an offender. And I feel like if we all did that, our world would be just a much better place. So that's it, my friend. How are you going to treat the next person that God puts in front of you? I hope it's with that conscious awareness that they are a child of God, worthy of honor, dignity, and respect. Blessings to you, and have a great one. Bye-bye.